Hello, my film friends. This is Stacia coming to you again with the next movie in my 25 Days of Christmas movies series. Today, the movie will be the 1990 movie Home Alone. This movie, of course, stars Macaulay Culkin as Kevin, who is the one that gets left home alone. It also stars Joe Pesci and Daniel Stern as the two wet bandit robbers who are putting him in danger while he is at home alone. And his parents are played by Catherine O'Hara of Schitt's Creek fame and John Hurd. Everybody's seen this movie, right? It was a huge hit when it came out in 1990, made a huge star out of Macaulay Culkin, and for like 5 or 6 years, he was the biggest child star in the world, made millions of dollars, made a sequel to this movie plus some other movies, and then kind of disappeared and semi-retired, and you see him pop up now and then. I believe last week he got his star on the Walk of Fame, and Catherine O'Hara was there to help induct him in to the Walk of Fame in Hollywood. For people who weren't around or weren't old enough then, it was a huge worldwide phenomenon. And it does have a memorable cameo from John Candy in there. It is directed by Chris Columbus. The writer of this movie is also John Hughes. I feel like everybody is familiar with the little blonde-haired Kevin, Macaulay Culkin, and this move. If you haven't seen the movie, you've probably seen a meme of him doing ah! So we're all somewhat still familiar with this movie, no matter how young we are. And besides the second one, there have been a couple other sequels made to the movie, which I do not recommend watching those other sequels. It had little to do with the original. It doesn't star Macaulay Culkin. It stars other kids. And each one of them is diminishing returns. So watch 1 and 2 and forget that the others exist. And if you didn't see my yesterday's video, I do have this on my head, if you're wondering what that was, from burning myself trying to do my bangs. So that is always an interesting plight of having bangs, when you accidentally burn your forehead with hot tools while trying to make them look good. So Kevin McAllister, played by Macaulay Culkin, is like an 8-9-year-old troublemaker who is giving his parents trouble while they're trying to get ready for Christmas vacation with the whole extended family, several kids and everything, and ends up accidentally being left behind by his parents. They do realize once they're at the destination that he is gone, but he basically, until his mom can get back there, is left to his own devices. It was a different time, an age before cell phones, where this is possible. I feel like this is not possible at all nowadays. Kind of makes the movie nostalgic for a bygone era where you did have limited ways to get a hold of somebody. Even, you try to call, there's phone line problems and everything like that. So it really sets it up for havoc to ensue in a way that I don't think is really realistically possible these days, although there are some plot holes in this movie about not being able to reach him that they try to make plausible excuses for. I just believe this scenario was probably more possible back then than it is today. So a few trivia things about Home Alone. Joe Pesci plays one of the burglars trying to get in to the house, who is foiled by Kevin. Joe Pesci, probably best known for playing more adult roles with lots of colorful language in it. This he had to learn. He never utters a cuss word in it. You hear him several times just like that. That was to his attempt to simulate frustration without being able to use any cuss words. And also, on set, Joe Pesci decided to try to avoid Macaulay Culkin to reiterate to Macaulay Culkin, who was only like 9 when he filmed this, that he is a bad guy and they did not like each other. So that would come across more on screen. And on that same vein, Joe Pesci and Daniel Stern, that played the robber pair, the Wet Bandit, were kind of indifferent about doing this movie. I think at the time it was just a paycheck to them. They did not see its potential to be this massive, worldwide, huge hit that it was. And it was shocking to them when it happened. So they didn't put their all into playing their characters. They kind of just phoned in their performances, even though I really don't think you can tell by watching the movie particularly that they did that. But just know that they did not see the potential in this little Christmas movie about the young boy that was left home alone. And be on the lookout for Macaulay Culkin's stunt double in this movie. You can tell in a few places because, of course, they weren't going to actually put a 9-year-old in such perilous situations in real life in there. At least we hope not. Macaulay Culkin's stunt double was a 34-year-old man. He was on the shorter side, but in some of these scenes, you can really tell that it is a stunt double and not Macaulay Culkin. John Williams is the composer of this movie. And of the John Candy cameo, so this film was written by John Hughes, and John Hughes is notorious for wanting people to say their lines on movies, even though he wasn't the director, he was the writer, but he still had tremendous control over this movie. So he always wanted actors to say their lines as he had written them. The only person he let improvise on this movie was John Candy, and John Candy did his part as a favor to John Hughes, and he filmed his whole part in one day, which is unusual for a movie, especially a bigger budget movie. And speaking of John Hughes, John Candy, and Macaulay Culkin, this is the second time all three of them are working together. Of course, they did the movie Uncle Buck together, which was Macaulay Culkin's breakout role that led him to getting this movie. Another cameo to watch out for is Macaulay Culkin's brother, Kieran Culkin, now of Succession fame, plays one of his siblings in this movie. He's just a little kid, but be on the lookout. See if you can spot him. I don't think he's that hard to spot. He looks exactly like he does today, except in little kid form. Home Alone was the highest grossing domestic movie in the year 1990. The movie Ghost was the highest grossing movie worldwide that year. And as all John Hughes written or directed movies, it does take place, or the family is from the northern suburbs of the Chicago area. There is a load of trivia for the movie Home Alone. I could go on, but we'd be here forever, and nobody wants to watch that long of a video of a movie review. But on the off chance that you have not seen the movie Home Alone from 1990, you should really check it out. It is a joy of a children's Christmas movie. It is still relevant to older people as well, I think. I really think you'd enjoy it. Give it a look. It is available several places. Again, I have made it 5 days now in my 25 days of Christmas, and we're to Home Alone, which is a yearly watch for me. And again, I thank you to all my subscribers. I would love to have more. If you enjoyed this video or made it to this point, please consider subscribing, consider leaving a comment or a like. It really helps out the channel for it to grow. Never wanted anything huge, but I would love to have a few people and love for people to interact more on this channel, just to have that film discussion. I really love all of you for being here, and see you hopefully tomorrow if I can keep this up. But thank you for joining me. I love you.